watching the evolution of Claudio from that first match to this match, I could see him go from Sandman to Tommy Dreamer. I never thought about it. It wasn't something in my brain like I'm going to be like the Sandman. It's just like I grew up loving real ECW from like 95 to 2001. I was 13 when I first saw ECW. Yeah. So it's imprinted on me. So everything that I do in the ring is just part of that, because that's like at the time, that's when I was like I'm absorbing that shit, and it's just stuck with me. And there's no intent behind all that shit. It's just like Claudio's. Makes sense.
Yeah. Well, and a beer can coming out of a pumpkin that you smash over somebody's head in a rivalry is the most like ECW moment.
Going back to the Sandman, right?
That's 100% it.
I see. What do we got there? We're starting with the whole story, huh?
Well, I guess maybe I didn't make it abundantly clear what I intended, but Greg thought we were just talking about the Pumpkinhead match, which, obviously we want to do that, but...
Right, I figured we have to talk about everything else anyway.
Exactly. Yeah, so, I mean, I think it's interesting that you guys had a rivalry that started in, the first 10 episodes, ended in season 6.
There's not that much content between he and I.
Right.
Except for like a couple of vignettes.
Yeah.
Few promos and like 3 important matches, maybe.
What kind of call is this?
Oh, so you can hear him now, huh? Now you hear him.
I can actually hear him. I just wanted to come and say hi to Brian.
That's a good fucking thing to do. We were talking about this with Greg last night, but yeah, I just kind of want to start from the beginning and just tell me about your rivalry with the mayor, Gregdust, Greg Maker. Like, how did that all start?
I don't remember, to be honest. I know, like, there's, what is it, episode 99 or 100, the COVID episode, where 90, there's like a little 90.
Yeah, that's like our greatest hits episode.
Yeah, but there's like a good section in there with pieces from it. Because the shit that I remember most is all the little things.
Yeah.
The all the things that happened in the match before, after, this, that, and the other thing. But like when it comes to like the grand shit, like I couldn't tell you how. I know it started with the pasta sauce tasting thing, pretty much. I think that's like the first thing.
Which is a brilliant vignette, by the way.
What is this? What is this? What are you doing? Oh my God! Spitting out my mother's pasta sauce. Your mother's pasta sauce is disgusting. That's not disgusting. This pasta sauce is disgusting. Are you kidding me?
We weren't enemies or anything at that point. This is when we became enemies.
Well, and
by the way, just a side note.
Yeah.
As a chef, I'm disappointed with myself on camera right now with that pasta. I didn't make it, but I'm disappointed with how I prepared it. It looks like shit. I just dumped sauce on it. No wonder he didn't like it. I deserved that beating.
It was the most like sloppy. The way we started in EWA was so like let's do a match where you put pasta sauce on my head.
Honestly, those were the best days for me. Like in terms of the sheer fuckery and stupidity. It's like to think like upstate, we would typically maybe book shit like a week in advance, or maybe we'd have a long like something we'd want to do further down the road. But usually ideas came in the car ride. Yeah, in the car ride. So, but like we were much older too, so we were better storytellers. But this was just like my favorite time because everybody was just drunk on drugs. We would arrive at like 12 in the afternoon or 11 a.m. and we'd be there until it got dark, filming all this shit. And it was just whoever was there. That's how things came about. It's like, who's here today?
Yeah.
You know, that's how some like, you know, redacted dark matches took place.
Right. It was very like, just sort of stuck. Okay. Hey, why don't you, and also like, I will say this, the one thing about, and Joey talked about this yesterday, but the one other thing too was like the pasta sauce, my rivalry, the French Wonders rivalry with Claudio and stuff like that. That was all stuff that like Joey was always so concerned with, like, it was like Joey, Chris, Steven, and James were always fighting for the belt, for the big one.
Yeah.
For the EWA.
Yeah.
So the rest of us were like, all right, well, like, what do we do this? Like, so there was that like slapdash kind of like, we're just like, we'll just figure out things to do.
Well, yeah, that was the kind of thing. Like, we were the scrubs. You know, it went without saying, right? To because they were more concerned with that shit. They were like we were mid carders or whatever. But like, that's where you get this shit. That's so much like, who the fuck was champion at this time? Do we remember?
Well, no, and like the development of the mid card in some sense, you know, like it's Claudio. It's the beginning of Claudio's rise, and it starts with Gregdust.
And this is pre Stunad Squad too, I think.
Yes, the Stunad Squad doesn't form for like
this has to be a while in. Well, that was a good punch.
10 more episodes or something, because you and I have our rivalry at this time. Like at sometime after this,
here's a sandbag. Sorry.
You know, in Greg's defense, I also have no idea what the hell you were trying to do there, Brian.
I was trying to do a what is it, Samoan drop.
Oh, okay.
Well, I thought you were going for like the angle slam.
It's like the same thing.
Flying,
you know, you just pick them up and then fall backwards.
Exactly.
Simple.
Greg would say, "What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we?" And you get a fucking suplex, dude. A suplex.
Well, Brian, for you at this time, you know, what was it like wrestling? Like, had you been doing it long enough to feel like you knew what the hell you were doing, or?
No, none of us did. Not even Joe. Don't even let him convince you otherwise. None of us knew shit. We didn't plan anything. We would go like, "Oh, let's do this, and that," and like later on, we would go through spots and practice them.
Right.
And we try to say this spot here, that spot there, and sometimes we forget, we fuck it up.
Sure.
But like, we would have an inkling of an idea of what to do to tell a story. Here, it was like, okay, in the end, I'd throw pasta sauce at you. Let's go.
That's it.
Know? Yeah. And none of us, or most of us probably weren't confident enough to do certain things. So that's why you get like hesitation like that, where it's like, and then we just fucking crumble. And then somebody sells something. It's just like, okay, that looked like you got hurt, so you sell it. Or whatever.
That's it.
So it's just, again, like for me, it's I was always like, I'm pretty much the Italian Sandman. You know, probably like mostly drunk, if not, you know, acting drunk, angry. Fucking at this time I was smoking, so I probably was. I think I did have a cigarette during a match one time.
Nice.
And so it's like that. It's just like brawler style with some, you know, like, I think Claudio's always like the comeback guy. So I always tried to have moments in the match where it just looks like, I'm getting the shit kicked, like right now. And then I would try to do something where it was just like an explosive, do a cool move, and then change the
What is Greg doing? Greg is doing.
I gotta be honest. Like that STF, like the step through, it actually looked better than John Cena's. Somehow.
I love this move.
Dude, Greg is doing a lot of stuff. I'm thoroughly impressed.
It's like
based on what I understand.
He's working the legs at least, right? So I don't know. Like, there we go. See, that's a Claudio moment right there. Like, that was well done. That's the only thing I really prided myself on my punches and my kicks like that. I could do a good super kick without hurting anybody. Like brawl stuff like this. Striking, I think
Your stomps are good. Your stomps are
good.
Though.
Yeah.
And my punches I always prided myself on, I think. Stuff, like meat and potato shit like this, I always felt solid at.
Yeah.
You were also a bigger boy back then, Brian.
Oh yeah, I think I got fatter after this too.
Yeah, but you look good. I mean, you know. I don't think.
Yeah, I was like,
you're fat.
Well, yeah, but then there's some picture of Claudio with like a half shirt on. That was the impetus for me to start losing weight.
Oh, really?
Was that picture? Yeah, but I think that was probably like a year after this, maybe. And it's like,
okay, how much you weigh in there?
I don't. I probably 2-something. Probably not here. Probably 190 something.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't
maybe or 180 something. But I know I never made it to 200 actually, almost, and that was the point where I was like, all right, 190 something is
right
pushing it.
Okay, so you guys must have talked about that spot you just did right there, where you're doing
I was looking at you.
Oh, okay. I got to back this up because this is like remarkably coordinated. So, all right. I'm not even sure what to call it. It's like an Irish whip, like reverse arm drag. I'm not even there it is. Here it is. Look at this. Look at this. You guys.
Yeah, that's like what is that? The Japanese one, I think.
It's almost like
the dragon. No, I forget what it's called. There's Japanese arm drag where you, instead of like go, you like whip your body over.
I've seen it. I don't know what it's called, but I'm just like, you guys kind of hit that perfectly.
That's what that was. The timing was pretty good at that.
You guys locked arms. Greg got over.
Yeah. That was one of the few times Greg did not sandbag.
That's right.
Well, that was it. I think,
to be fair, it was his own.
If you watch this, right, and then you watch the Pumpkinhead match, you could clearly see two guys who figured each other out.
Yes. Oh, for
figured it out. Like, I know who Greg is. I know that's why brawling works. First off, it works in terms of the story. He's like, I'm not going to be doing like technical shit with somebody I fucking hate, right? I'm going to be punching and just throwing desperation shit if I feel so it's going to be a fight rather than a wrestling match, So it was always that with him. And also I know his limitations. I know he doesn't want to do certain things. He's afraid of one time I choked him too hard. Like, I think I gave him a headlock or something. And I think I was just a little bit overzealous, right? And it's like, please stop, something like that. And I was like, I'm sorry. And then it was the time I think I don't think I was sorry. I think I was a dick about it. And he had the makeup on, right? So he got mad at me or got upset that I was giving him a headlock that was too tight. And I was like, okay, all right, I'm sorry. And then I just gave him a fucking forearm. But it was a little too spicy, and I just had Gregdust's face printed on my fucking forearm.
Nice.
Then I think I was sorry. Then I was like, oh shit, I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
Because you can feel it. You can feel it like when you make that sort of harmless contact that still makes like contact. But this one felt like, oh, I think I got some nose cartilage.
Was this the same day as Joey going through the light bulb table? Because that table to your right looks like...
I think it is the table. Or at least maybe it was under construction.
Maybe.
It was probably the same day or same weekend, because we would do this shit like 2-3 days in a row, If it was... I mean, sometimes this would start Friday and end on Sunday, It was, and parties would happen in the house.
This is here it is,
and we're getting to it. We're getting to it. that was and you guys didn't go too long.
But here's the thing: this was just supposed to. This is like one of those things. It's like, this is a story for the TV episode, right?
Yeah. He
talks shit about my grandma's sauce. We have this match. I win. There wasn't really supposed to be a rivalry. We didn't think ahead of time like Gregdust and Claudio are going to have a program that lasts a decade, or more.
Well-
this is what, 2013, 2012?
Greg said 2010
2009
or 9.
No, I don't think it's single digits at this point. I think we're in double digits at this point.
This is maybe
'Cause I think
Well, the first year you guys were upstate was 2011, or maybe
Also
12.
no, I think it was
2009.
12. I thought it
Because I joined you guys
upstate in, like-
2012, and you guys were already upstate.
Yeah, Brian and I talked this out.
Oh, so this is earlier than this
I
is
think
probably
Greg said
2010.
2010. Greg said
I would
2010.
say so. Greg has that
Could be 2010.
brain for that shit.
This was also like what's interesting too, Brian, what you were saying was that like you did not intend for this. You guys didn't intend for this to be some lengthy rivalry. But also what's funny is that like Greg just didn't exist at this time.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, this is what kind of leads him into becoming Gregdust, right? If I'm not mistaken.
He needs these losses.
This is part of a losing streak that leads him to like join the
Oh,
underworld or something.
By the way, this is probably the same day because now it's that match.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
This.
Look at our amazing camera work. Quick, hold the camera.
Everybody's like fucking
I know.
10 Peronis deep at this point.
Nice.
There was no. We were all a bit inebriated when we were wrestling, commentating.
Well, what surprised me was Mike was saying yesterday or sometime when we talked recently that you guys drank way more back then. I'm like, dude, like I feel like we drink a lot now, or at least
we definitely did. We definitely did because we were all like, this is 2010. We're in our mid 20s.
Yeah, we're like,
or some are in their early 20s, and it's like that's the time when you're doing this shit, drinking and just. Some are better than at like self-preservation than others. Some of us were like, fuck it, let's just go wild.
Cable inception here, buddy.
Yeah. And well, this is the spot you were thinking of, right?
Yeah. So it is the same day. This is definitely the same day. Same cars are parked in the same spots.
Joey's dad pushes him over, and then this leads to Joey going to the hospital.
Yeah.
Actually,
did he go to the hospital or did he? Wasn't Rosalind like? I thought
cousin. I think.
Yeah, he didn't go to the hospital. Like he had somebody who was a nurse to help him out and give him like stitches or something.
There it is.
I mean, good for him.
Right.
To be fair, we did too many light bulbs.
Well, that was cool. This is a big like rivalry blow-off fucking episode, huh? Jesus. This is a pay-per-view, right? This is Slamtober.
Yeah, this is Slamtober.
That's why.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Look at that.
That's the
blow.
That's the same day. Yeah, and I think Gary was there the same day. And before we started wrestling, he asked Joe to hit him with a light bulb, and he got a fucking huge fucking gash on his back.
Oh no, his wife. Remember he had Katie.
Oh yeah, Katie.
He had Katie.
Yeah.
And it's in the bloopers. It's at the end of some episode where he's yelling. He's yelling at her. He's like, "Come on!" And he calls her like a whore or something. And she's like, "Shut up, Gary!" And just snaps them over the back.
Do we know for sure? Like that is the pasta sauce match? Is that the that lead up to him joining the underworld?
I don't.
Is that on?
It's not like a causation thing, but
it's more like it's one thing in a sea of things that aren't going right for him, right?
Yeah.
And then he's desperate, and then the underworld kind of takes him.
Yeah. And so Brian, before moving on to the Pumpkinhead match, and by the way, just pausing to hover over this to say that this episode at least was published, Slamtoberfest 7.5 published August 9th, 2012. I don't know if it was filmed that day, but
no, we didn't film it that. We were
I don't think we had a YouTube at that point.
Okay.
Yeah,
but when you think about that, how long ago that was? 12 years ago. Brian, like, what does that make you think?
You think like, being 42 is like, you think about all the shit you didn't do and all that stuff. But then I talk to people, right? The new people and shit, people I work with down here. When you get to know people, and you just like nonchalantly tell them like something like this,
Right.
and they look at you, they're not, they stop listening because they're thinking like, did he just say he had like a fucking pasta sauce match that's on YouTube?
Yeah.
And then you show them, and they're like, what? And then you think about all the fucking shit that you did.
Yeah.
Like so many people our age at this time were probably just at like a frat party or like at work.
Yeah,
or like working
or
doing some other shit, or like
or at
in the
some like
city.
shit that they didn't want to be doing, like
Yeah,
with their
like,
wife or their kids.
You just think about all the shit like I would so much rather be doing this than be in New York City at some shitty bar with asshole people.
Yeah.
Or at some dance club. Like so many, this was like the height of clubbing, right? And this is what we were doing. And this is far more memorable to me than like going out to a club.
Well,
but
Brian,
I love it. I mean, I feel old. Yeah, fuck yeah. But I also feel pretty much better about the way I look now than I did then, you know?
Well, and I was just going to say that this match, like we were talking with Greg about, like Greg was just so happy to talk about this for an hour last night. And he kept texting me again and again and again how much he enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I know why, because you know, this match is the reason I wrestled with you guys, because Greg and I were reporters together, and he was just showing this match, like you were just saying, Brian. He was showing this match at the newsroom, and so all the reporters huddled around Greg Maker's laptop, and besides the porn, we were looking at Claudio Cacciatore having his hand raised after you were just dousing this idiot with fucking pasta sauce, and he's showing all of us all at once, and I wasn't even in front of it looking at it. I just knew I heard wrestling in the newsroom, so I stopped what I was doing, dropped the fucking story, and I walked over like, you know, what's going on? Like, I think is someone wrestling? And I heard about you guys, and I was like, holy fuck! Like, can I do that?
Yeah.
Like, this is the reason that I wrestle with you guys.
Yeah.
This episode,
I remember you guys worked together. I didn't know he did that though. That's funny.
Yeah. But like I do that all the time. Like I show everybody. I had a coworker of mine do those like big giant printouts we had for the first EWA gallery.
This episode, by the way, is the precursor. The pasta sauce match is the precursor to the Gregdust vignette.
Oh, really?
And is the precursor to the formation of Greg, because I just looked it up. So episode 8. So this is 7.5. Episode 8 is the vignette.
So I think it's like the last. What is he said?
The reveal is the reveal of Gregdust. Which, like, what's funny too is like when we film stuff. Joey put all the episodes together, so we filmed stuff so out of order. We would just wrestle stuff, and Joey would string it together. So they were like I don't know if the vignette and Gregdust were the same physical day. They were two separate episodes.
I don't think they were the same day. I mean, I think this. Yeah, I don't think it was the same day because this is definitely. Oh man, I miss that fucking costume.
Oh look,
whatever happened to that? You think that's in the fucking the loft in the cabin somewhere?
I don't know,
because we had that for a while. There were two of them too.
Oh my gosh, these things.
Oh wow, yo, Brian, you were so fucking strong. Holy shit!
You see look how proud I am of myself.
I love the way Joey just flips over like a stick of water.
That was great.
Shit. What do I give him? I think I give him a splash because it's like the perfect suit to do. Like it's an airbag.
Yeah.
So I think I might just go like, just fucking.
Yeah, you got a frog splash in there, buddy.
But yeah, the vignette is the very next episode.
Well, he comes out. This is
8. What is this?
This is 8.
So he
comes out, might be whatever
he loses.
Yeah,
he
might,
and he loses to the Dark Outsider. So like,
and a complete match, ladies and gentlemen, on his way down the ring.
So it's probably after this. Then he. It might be later.
He doesn't want to talk. He doesn't.
It might be later in the episode too.
It is. It's the next episode. So Greg the maker has to. He loses to after losing to Claudio. He loses to the Dark Outsider.
Right.
And then after that is it ends with the
so he's getting drunk.
Exactly. He's getting drunk. And the vignette is just I talked about it. We talked about it last night.
This is the moment that I always show people because I always I go from I just go to episode 90 so people could watch like the abridged version. And like this is my favorite storyline. This is my character's like arc. And I show people, and that like everybody loves the Gregdust reveal too because what's his name? What is James's character's name?
The seer.
The seer, right? Like he lit the lead up to it is like, that it's time to reveal. Then they take the paper towels away. Great.
Like the savage butterfly hatching from its cocoon.
And then at some point, it's probably episode after this, where you get that promo Claudio and the bait because now Gregdust, like Claudio's got it easy over Greg the Mayor, right? Just destroyed him in the match, took him out. But now, as Gregdust really fucks up Claudio's psyche.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's just fun. There's that promo where I like grab my face and my eyes like nearly popping out of my fucking head. And it's about him. It's about Gregdust. That's the first like insane promo, I think, from Claudio.
Yeah, the underworld really like honestly the whole underworld was like a fantastic like it was such a fantastic.
It was it was. I wish we had done more that to go because I think we did enough with the underworld versus Stunad Squad, which is pretty much why the Stunad Squad formed. But given the fact that it required like pretty much 6 of the same people to be there consistently, we couldn't do it that often. So we would have like little matches, maybe a tag match, and we know our tag matches.
After this, Greg just becomes a character. He's just there.
Yeah. This is like
looking at some of the other cards.
Well, and to keep we got a diaper match here, great. But to go from 7.5 all the way to episode 68, that is where this picks up. And so for you,
like we said, there's a lot more. It's just
going to be
too much.
And this is going to be where I leave you guys. I'm gonna head out. Brian, lovely to see you.
All right, love to see you too, man.
Later. Jumping all the way forward in time, you win the championship in the 30s, Battlemania 2, up to Battlemania 3, and we know this now because Joe has told us and Greg has told us, and so now I have the timeline pretty straight. But you lose the title to Chaos because the mayor screws you.
This is
and
this
so
is
that's kind of where we pick up.
Yeah, and that's I won the title at Battlemania 3. That's the only person to do it. Why? Yeah, the title was vacated, right? And that's why it was up.
The title was vacated, so that was for the belt.
Yeah,
but you go to 40, you hold the belt, and then you lose it to Chaos in a match where you actually walk out with the mayor by your side, and then in the end he screws you. So Chaos takes the belt, and then that's episode like 40 or 40.5 or what the hell ever.
Yeah.
And then we don't get to this until episode 68. So do you know, like, do you remember what you guys were talking about in relation to that? Or what Joe, like, was it Joe trying to plan, Gregdust coming back? Or was it you guys wanting to do it?
No, I think it was mostly us. Pretty sure Greg was not living in New York State at the time. That's why it jumped from like 40 to 68 or whatever.
Right.
Because I'm not 100% certain, because Greg was there often enough when he was in New York. And I think I want to say I was more the driving force at it, because Greg, I think, is Claudio's muse. And I had cool matches and things. I think you and I had a pretty cool. I wish you and I had more.
Right.
Because I think your character is the type of character that pisses off Claudio a lot. so you know,
100%.
and I think we would have had some cool shit because of that. But I think again, that like there was a lot going on, because we had the kids. I forget that Scott and
Snot Mucus and Crying Ryan and Piggy. And there were some plot points along the way,
right? But the Pumpkinhead match was day of booked.
Really,
this was not. We were gonna have something, and yes, it was, because we did not know they were going to be, because this is November. This is shortly after Halloween. So I think when we're going up to the ring, as we leave in town, one of us, as usual, steals something from somebody's front yard, which would be a couple of jack-o'-lanterns. And I think that's where the idea came from, in the car.
Is it possible that somebody literally, because I'm the one that took the fucking pumpkin. Was it possible somebody said, "Hey, steal that pumpkin," and that's how that fucking idea came to be?
Yeah, I just know one of us stole a pumpkin, or a couple.
Yeah.
And I think it was a whole pumpkin, right?
It was a whole pumpkin. It was a big old pumpkin, and we carved it up there at the fucking ring. Yeah,
up there for this reason.
Damn.
But there wasn't an idea before that. We didn't steal a pumpkin, because we would have just gotten a pumpkin beforehand, you know? So I think it was a spur of the moment thing. It was like, oh, we could use this. How about we have this fucking match? And it's similar enough to the pasta sauce thing, where like the gimmick is pull this thing off, put it over somebody's head or whatever. And it's kind of like a full circle thing, which I don't even think we were thinking at the time.
That's kind of amazing, because it is so
just
perfect.
Kind of ended up that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it comes across almost like it's so intentional, but it's just a long series of fucking accidents.
Mm-hmm. And I think again, this is this is one of my favorite matches, if not my favorite, for Claudio. And like I said, my other favorite match is the one where, because I think it's at the same time period that Claudio's crazy, so he wrestles Chaos. But since Claudio is so fucked up and crazy at this point, Claudio is a match for Chaos.
Yeah.
So that, I think this is probably maybe that Chaos match is a little before this, or maybe after. I don't know. Around the same time, maybe 2015 or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was my other favorite one, because it was just fun to see a crazy Claudio be like even surprise Chaos in his brutality.
Right.
And his resilience, and which I think is what makes that match so it still tells a story, even if it's not a long story, even if it's just an insular one match thing.
No, I mean, it was a great fucking match, and I'm just hitting play on some of this, and you know, it's still on the note of just things coming together really nicely. Like Greg's promo here was perfect. You know,
yeah, and again,
it was just so on point.
And here's the thing about the promos that we do, is that typically we probably don't talk to each other before. So we're going to wrestle next Saturday, right? We here's who we're wrestling and what it's about, right? We really didn't ever, maybe not you, maybe not me, maybe you did, but like talk beforehand. I'm going to say this. Here's part of what I want to say and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It was usually, again, in the car and stuff. So I remember this promo that you're going to play.
You want to hear it?
Yeah, if you want to put the sound up, because I didn't have this planned at all. I was literally up into that point. gonna say something else.
What's that?
I had a whole promo.
Oh shit! Really?
Planned, and then because we hadn't pre-planned, like communicated before, what I was going to say kind of really didn't have as much power because he already said what he said. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to be crazy. He's broken me at this point. I just thought like that. Fuck, I scrapped that promo and this is what the fuck I'm going to say.
Amazing.
And it works.
Gregdust is nothing. Gregdust is meaningless. Gregdust does not exist. Gregdust is nothing. Gregdust is meaningless. Gregdust does not exist. I accept.
And I don't even know, like, I'm trying to think of the reasoning behind saying that.
Yeah.
I think because he's not, I don't know, but it works.
Was there an idea of you becoming obsessed with Gregdust already, or did that develop after this?
I think I had the idea already of wanting to become Gregdust.
Right.
That's where I wanted this whole thing to end.
Yeah.
Was to me to just disappear as Gregdust. You know? And just never show up again. But like, just it didn't work out with how we timing.
Well, and so for anyone listening, you know, like you at that point you were about to move, or maybe Greg moved before you did, right?
Yeah. This is I moved to 2020. So like at that, like I wanted to like, but then Greg wasn't around, so I couldn't really. It really didn't make sense for me to just. What the fuck was I doing? Was that the
you had
pincher?
some like, yeah.
I think it was like grabber. Those like yeah. I had it on his nose.
The bodega grabber.
Yeah. Shit. I forgot
so when you say you wanted to become Gregdust, like what do you mean?
I wanted to literally do these like little vignettes where I want to do little things where you would see, you know, people would ask me about Gregdust or something, right? And I'll be like, I don't know who the fuck that is. I don't know what you're talking about. And then I'll pick up my bag and I start walking away, but there's a gold wig dangling out of my gym bag, right? And somebody will just make a comment like, what the fuck was that? Yeah. Did you see that? And then little things like that until it ended up where, you know, Gregdust was going to make his return, right?
Yeah.
And there would be like a little thing where you'd see, I wanted to get like as close as we could get to a vanity,
right?
Upstate, right? With a mirror and some lights and some, you know, like cute little gold things and everything. And oh my God, it's Gregdust. Gregdust, can we have a moment of your time?
Yeah.
And you just walk up and it's me putting like gold and black lipstick on over and over again. Oh my God, it's Claudio. Get out of here. You know? And then that would be the last you fucking see of me. That would be the end of Claudio's story. He became his own worst enemy.
Shit. This is something that just came to you, or like you and Greg
no, it came to me and I talked to him about it. He was like, everybody was like, yes, this needs to be done. But it just didn't work. There was just not enough time, and it didn't work. It still would have been great. And what we have is great. And if this is like the last kind of thing, it's just perfect, you know?
Yeah. Well, and it would have been perfect too, because Greg wasn't really trying to do much Gregdust stuff at that point, because, you know, the ring's upstate. It's not easy to put on, take off makeup, so he wasn't doing that.
Yeah.
So it would have been the perfect way to blow that off.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It would have been great, like the triumphant return of Gregdust, and he's all in the gold, not the purple one. He's back in the gold, but then it turns out it's me. But again, from as far as I remember in this, we had a few spots and stuff planned, but the whole idea is like we agreed upon. As far as I remember, it's like, let's take it easy.
Sure. Well,
because the excitement when you get up there,
Yeah.
and when you get in the ring, sometimes gets the better of you, where you're like, you think you've planned out a match, right? And you've just blown through 5 fucking spots, and you're like, we only have 2 left. It's only been 5 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
So like this whole thing was like, this needs to be a slow build struggle. And the match isn't that long either, but it's just, we know our limitations. I know his, he knows mine. We know each other's strengths and stuff. So it's just like, let each other work. And that's like, that's what I'm doing here. You know? I'm letting him, I'm going to win, right? So I need to let him just fucking do what he's got to do.
Well, and for Claudio, who you mentioned earlier, is the come from behind kid. You know,
exactly.
You get a hot start because you're angry. You're telling the story, but Gregdust is still getting the advantage early.
And that was I would like to say that like I went from Sandman in the early days to like Tommy Dreamer. In my later Claudio, because again, it's like it's the same type of thing. Just getting your ass kicked, getting crazier and crazier. Like he's my Raven.
Yeah.
Because, you know.
Hell yeah. Well, and there's similarities in the match when you look at it, but it's so different because you guys are kind of like moving in coordination pretty well.
Right.
Whereas
this is like
in the
clearly
pasta sauce match, it was just like. Yeah, there's like 2 people in the ring and shit's happening, but this is actually a match.
Yeah, and it's not just like do something,
right?
Call a move and do something to me. It's like we I don't know how many spots or anything that we planned. It's just like we were very calm and less urgent. You know what I mean?
Learning how to slow down is the hardest thing. That's just the first thing Greg told me.
Just a few seconds there, just on that mat, was like cleaner than anything from that last match.
Yes. Yeah. Dropping the elbow, both of you sold because you're on the outside.
And again, I don't know if that bulldog was planned or if it was just, you know.
Was the finish planned?
Okay. The finish was.
Okay.
But again, that was booked before, like maybe an hour before we went in the ring.
Yeah.
And nobody, I believe, knew about the end,
right?
Until it happened, and I think it was only me, him, and maybe whomever was the ref,
right?
Knew, and that was it. And then because most of you guys were outside, because I think this might have been like the last thing we were doing or whatever. Nobody was in the cabin getting prepared for another thing, so everybody was watching it. So we had a crowd too.
Which is so rare and so fortunate that we had it for this.
Yeah, and it was just like, what if, you know, it was just one of those things. I mean, I don't want to reveal it, but it was like one of those things. What if I did this, Greg? It was like he was fucking totally down for it. We you know, it's not like a.
Well, and just, you know what I love about this too is like you guys have such a cat and mouse game going on this whole match.
Yeah.
You know, like it is one thing,
right?
Which is nice. As Greg,
that was a great little set right there. He did, I think he did an eye gouge and then
shoved you off the apron. Little eye gouge, little leg drop,
clothesline into a leg drop. Yeah. Now he's going. Now it's getting exciting. Now he's going.
Well, and the other thing that I loved when we could do it was having these like second cameras that have like close-ups.
Oh, it was the best.
It changes things.
It really helps tell the
like, look at this.
Story.
Look at your fucking face, man. Yeah. Look at this.
And I knew the camera was there, so I'm pointing to it. I'm looking at it.
There isn't a happier human on earth than you right there.
You're absolutely right. There was any chance I could get to like really like not hurt him, but make it look like I did. It worked out. And I was like, yeah, go for it. Let him go.
Right. Yeah, you are the king of the in-ring like physical taunt. Like at Freedom Mania, when I'm down and James is choking me out, you lean over and you're like telling me, "You want to quit? You want to quit, you little bitch?" You just smack the shit out of it.
And then I think I get, don't I? Yeah, I break it, right? I break it up because I actually don't want you to give up because then he would win the match. Yeah. So but I was just like taunting you, just waiting to last.
Right. Which was extra special because my friend John's like 7-year-old daughter's yelling,
Yeah.
And you're like taunting her too.
Yeah. Those rare moments when we did have crowds were like just it's different.
And we have these characters that can play so freaking well, like the Golden Nugget at Condom Wars, you at Freedom Mania, and we're going into the whole crowd with like the pronoun shit. You're taunting little children here with the pumpkin.
Yeah.
It's like, we do have characters that are kind of like, crowd ready.
Yeah, and I think none of us are really that shy or I mean, it's scary to be in front of that many people. It was nerve-wracking being at Freedom Mania. Like, holy shit, there's a real ring in front of a bunch of fucking people.
Yeah.
And it's just scary, like, to hold their attention.
You felt that? Because I remember thinking, like, I'm going to pause for a second just to watch this and appreciate this.
Well, go back a little bit because did it get knocked off or did I take it?
The pumpkin?
Yeah. I think the top's on right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
I mean, it really doesn't matter, but I'm wondering like where I think it was off.
Greg had picked it up for a second somewhere.
Oh, and then I do the
and you do
yeah, this is definitely probably my personal best match, just in terms of nothing. I mean, it's not a professional wrestling match, but it's fucking there's really no shit ass botches or anything like that.
Well, and it's fun to, like, if you were in a real ring, say it for this match, and you didn't have like the sagging and the drooping on different things, there would have been like, I think, perfect beats
more
all along the way.
Solid, yeah, exactly.
Because I'm like, as we've done a few in the Freedom Mania and the Condiment Wars now, like you realize like when you actually have the spring of the ring and the ropes.
It's easy to walk around.
It's easy to walk around. Yeah. The little things sound better. You look better. You move better.
Yeah, the bounce. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Am I talking to it?
You talking to the pumpkin.
I think I'm talking to it.
You kissed it?
And they cheer it. Yeah.
You kissed it. You cheersed it. And then you fucking made a... By the way, I got to go back because like I was telling Greg last night, I don't think I appreciated like one of the best parts of this is the sound Greg makes.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Ladies and gentlemen! Oh my god! He had us here! The pumpkin is on Gregdust! The pumpkin is on Gregdust!
And you got like this, you got the pumpkin seeds falling out of the pumpkin now that the pumpkin is on his head.
The ref's got to stop it. Like it's such a, it's, there's still, but you could see like how agitated I am. It's still kind of not enough for Claudio, right?
Right, exactly. Like
I'm still going after him. Like it wasn't satisfying enough. Because to win the match isn't to win for him.
Right.
It's I need to. I never thought like, hey, I need to kill this guy. That's why it would have been sort of the ultimate revenge to become him. Because it's like I am you now. You no longer fucking exist. You know,
right?
It's like it's like that silly ending to a movie. You know,
the silly ending to a movie where you put the top of the pumpkin on your head, you breathe deep. Like it's something akin to like taking somebody's girl, right? You know, it's like you're in that person's place now, but for you, it's taken their actual own identity.
Yeah, I really wish I could have done that. Like just because it would have been the ultimate. Like Claudio won and lost at the same time. Like, because great. Like in terms of on camera story, like where's the mayor? Who's Gregdust? You know, like kind of like I think. Did he wrestle?
You know, after this, he probably like we did a match where the night Greg was moving, or like whatever. Like the last time we were up at the ring and Greg was moving, it was cold ass winter, and we did get into the ring. And I dropped as a Zeitgeist, I dropped the belt to Greg, the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
But he was so high and drunk he couldn't really like function. So it was like a 10-second, like he like threw a punch, I fell down like Poke of Doom style.
Yeah.
And he pins me and becomes the champ. And I think that might have been the next and last time he was in the ring.
But is that canon?
Well, so what we did was, because it wasn't really a match.
Yeah.
Joe and I were like, okay, like what do we do with it? And like Joe was just gonna use it, but I suggested, what if it was just like a bad dream the Zeitgeist had? That he lost the belt to the mayor in 10 seconds.
It just makes, it makes more sense.
And it was so like I filmed a vignette of myself like waking up in like a barren bedroom, because we had like this middle room, because we were between roommates in my old apartment with John. So it was like an empty room that had brick, and the Zeitgeist was like sleeping in it, like with no bed, no nothing, just like holding a knife, sleeping, and wakes up like trying to like stab somebody.
Yeah, that which makes, again, see, it's shit like that. That's why, like, when you ask, like, was that planned or whatever? It's like, no, we had a thing, and then that thing turned into this thing, because it either didn't turn out the way we had planned, or something, or this person is no longer going to be here, so why would they have a championship? So we need to do something with this footage that we have. And you just, again, that's where I think most of our best ideas come from. Stealing
the crayons, right?
If we did not steal a pumpkin, this would not exist.
That's fucking
But
amazing.
the idea came from the theft of a pumpkin. So I'm sorry to whomever's pumpkin we stole, but you helped us a lot.
You fed a generation.
Our degeneracy turned into gold.
Well, and as Greg put it, it was already after Halloween. The pumpkin was probably rotting and going to be thrown out soon anyway. So we did him a favor. We were the cleanup crew.
Yeah.
No, man, but like the pasta, like I said before, the pasta sauce match is the reason I started wrestling with you guys. Like, this just felt like such an amazing part of that era of EWA.
Right, and a lot of us
like a shining example.
Yeah, and I think that's where we shine too, is when we have those. We're just pushed into a corner. Like, this is what we have to work with, and then there's so many storylines that are just from convenience of who's available and what weapons we have available, or something like that, and how much time we have, how much daylight we have.
Right.
All those little things add up to, like, okay, what if we do this shit? And but that one I wanted to be like the Gregdust thing. I wanted to be little things like that, where even in certain moments where like there were strands of the wig while I was doing a promo hanging from my head, and like, so like, you know, Fotis or whoever's interviewing me, or Dusty Street is like, you got something there, and you know, like, wait a minute, what was it? He's like, don't worry about it.
That's right.
What the fuck did you want to say to me? What did you know?
Well, no, I mean, and these are the things that made it so fucking fun to be up there. Like, the wrestling is obviously great, but like, it's all this other stuff, right? You know, the promos, the vignettes, like the little ways that you get to the match.
It's the more fun shit.
Yeah.
Because that's where like you get we're all, I think we could all be amazed by how each one of us, how fucking funny and creative we are. I'm always surprised at like the shit that Joe will do.
Yeah.
Like with just with the golden nugget, you know, and again, I think a lot of that maybe have been planned ahead, but there's certain shit like with the crayons and with the, you know, counting Skittles or whatever the hell he was
counting
doing.
Skittles. Yeah.
Like that shit is some of the funniest shit. And again, that's just, we have crayon costumes.
The crayon idea came out of a car ride up to Gary's, right?
Yeah,
that's
and
it.
I think that vignette with the candy wasn't really
where the crayons are like paying up to the boss, the black nugget, to the black
which again was
crayon.
Probably around post Halloween.
yeah. The candy corn.
We just have candy left over. Let's bring that. Yeah. But just the whole thing too with him being the Black Crayon was just fucking amazing.
Oh my God.
Outstanding.
The reveal, the boas, the evolution of it.
Yeah. And it all feeds off of all his favorite wrestlers, right? And I don't even think, sometimes I don't think, like I said, watching the evolution of Claudio from that first match to this match, I could see him go from Sandman to Tommy Dreamer. I never thought about it. It wasn't something in my brain like, I'm going to be like the Sandman. It's just like I grew up loving real ECW from like 95 to 2001. I was 13 when I first saw ECW. Yeah. So it's imprinted on me. So everything that I do in the ring is just part of that, because that's like at the time, that's when I was like I'm absorbing that shit, and it's just stuck with me. And there's no intent behind all that shit. It's just like Claudio's. Makes sense.
Yeah. Well, and a beer can coming out of a pumpkin that you smash over somebody's head in a rivalry is the most like ECW moment.
Going back to the Sandman, right?
That's 100% it.
There's so much shit. Like you said, we went from episode 7 to 68 in less than a decade.
Yep.
Between these two matches. And this went on for another 5-6 years at this point, or more.
It's crazy. I mean, when I joined you guys had kind of a big-ish roster, and actually producing 10 episodes a year. Like that's fucking.
Well, that's why we could, because when we were in Rye Brook, we had so many fucking people.
Yeah.
It was like Lavulo he came up state a couple of times, and gradually people dropped out because it's not their thing, right? They were just there and they were having fun. Lavulo lived with them, I believe. Did he live there? I don't remember. I don't remember. But if not, I mean, it was in Rye Brook, it was in Westchester, and we all lived within like 5 miles of that place. So we could all get there within 15 minutes.
I'm jealous of that time and not being around back then, because man, that just happened.
So you never were in the Rye Brook ring?
No, I didn't know you guys yet.
I thought we knew you at that point. I was going to ask you that.
It was like Greg, is the one that reminds me of like this shit. I think when I joined you guys or Joe and them had literally just moved the ring upstate. Like it was the first year you guys were upstate. Yeah.
Which
just missed it.
A long time. Yeah. That was probably 2013, 2014.
Yeah. Yep.
I think there might have been a year in between Rye Brook and the ring upstate.
Back when Greg was covering Money Earned in Mount Vernon. But no, this has been fun, man. I think this is definitely like one of my favorite rivalries. Just because like it's just so fucking like it just puts a smile on your face.
All right, brother.
All right, dude.
You have a good one. It's been a pleasure.
Later. Same here.